awesome opportunity come up and available. It was an event that was sold out a year in advance. With us moving out this way, it was also a great opportunity to meet new teams and raise some money for a really good charity. I've done it a couple of times now. Well, I've been to a couple of events, and then I did the Ashmore Estates one in 2019, which was raising money for lost limbs. If you know Mike Couch and Crystal Couch, it is a phenomenal charity. We raised $5,000 for this weekend during this, so we feel pretty accomplished for the one-day event.
So the next speaker today is going to keep you awake during lunch after we get the meeting. Jerrett Osborne. Jerrett's going to talk to us a little bit about some stuff that we never really talked about here. And so that's what I try to do, try to bring people in that we haven't discussed and talked about things in the past. So looking forward to Jerrett talking to us tonight, this afternoon or whatever day it is. It's been a long last couple of days. So thanks for coming out, Jerrett. You're just a couple hours away, 2.5 hours away.
Yeah, 2 hours away.
So that's I think you're the shortest drive that, today. That's the first speaker. So yeah, we appreciate you coming down.
No, I said, yeah.
So we'd like to thank everybody that was involved and had a really great time. I was given the opportunity to speak on witchcraft and the paranormal, so hopefully it's pretty good.
All right, so afternoon. Quick question. I know this is going to be short, only a few, but how many of you are familiar with who I am? 1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. I like new people. My name is Jerrett Osborne. I am a pagan priest in the paranormal. I am a member of the team of Paranormal Endeavors, which is led by Eric Klein. The team has been around for about 12 years now. Based out of Iowa. We've just recently moved to Vermont, Illinois. Eric bought the Joab Mershon Mansion in Vermont, Illinois. It is extremely active. Our investigation will be on this Friday's release on our series. So you actually get to see how interactive and intelligent the spirits that we became family with actually are. They've got quite the sense of humor, as these gentlemen have talked about with ITC, where you get some neat conversations with people. And yeah, Joab's got he refuses to call me Jerrett, he calls me Butterface.
Oh, that's not nice.
But it is. It's his term of endearment. I've joked forever. I've been single a long time and just recently started dating, but I've always joked that I'm ugly. That's just how it is, and it's a long-running joke. So for him to do that, that was a very cognitive, intelligent response of saying, I see you. And we became friends. Now, what I'm talking about today is witchcraft and the paranormal. That's why I looked at you when you said witchcraft on your ticket. So funny. I went, that's ironic. How many of us are open investigators, have investigated locations, been to graveyards, all that fun stuff? Right? How many of them do you hear curses because a witch died here? I like to call witchcraft spicy psychology. That's all it is. It is a religious belief. It is a spirituality belief. But it's also the foundations of us as paranormal investigators. These early witches believed in two major deities, Hecate and Persephone. If you look at both of those, they deal with the underworld. They deal with the dead. They deal with talking and conversing with spirits, finding out the truths and realities of what happened when they lived, and the transference of souls from living to the underworld. And back again. What we do as paranormal investigators. Get out of here. We help spirits that are in need. We help families that are in need. And they use a lot of the same techniques that we're using today.
I know I watched it back myself, and of course, as that first speaking, you're nervous, and I left out bits and pieces that I wanted to say. but I was nervous and forgot it. But enough of it is there, it's still credible. So,
How many are deathly afraid of Ouija boards? You? Okay. It was the earliest ITC. Let's look at it in definitions. You using a ghost box is a phone call compared to mailing a letter with an Ouija board. It is no different using that ITC than using that Ouija box or that Ouija board. The difference is it's an electrical stimuli. Okay? So when we go into these situations where we come across the grave that is of a witch, when we come into a location that they say there's a witch, and we hear these curses, a lot of that is that spicy psychology. We as witches were heavily hunted for our beliefs when paganism was deemed unacceptable. However, the church still used us for many, 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 many years in what was called necromancy. They used necromancers in order to verify scripts of history by then talking to the person that wrote that book or the person that was alive in that. And then the church would validate whether or not those books were real. During the Salem witch trials, we had the European witch trials and all these other things going on. We had the King James Version of the Bible being written at that exact same time. At that point is where you see witchcraft invalidated as evil. This is also when the church turned on necromancy. We were no longer deemed acceptable by the church.
hopefully this was a great venture for Paranormal Endeavors to meet some of the other teams in Michigan and Illinois areas that all came down. Weather was kind of rough, so we had quite a few cancelizations, but it was a very big event. Looked like we had quite the nice turnout.
About watching your intent as a paranormal investigator. How much of your will is being converted into an energy that is manifested intelligently and picking up your thoughts? We do this with psychics, but we tend to pick up what you're thinking, what you're feeling. Spirits do it too. We pick up their thoughts and what they're thinking through that energy. So when we talk about consciousness, is our consciousness stuck to a solid body? It's free-flowing energy. Can we manipulate an ITC because we are thinking it? That's the essence of magic, creation. Prime example of that is there's a few spirits in major locations. One of those is Malvern Manor. How many people have been there? Right? We're all familiar with one little girl there, aren't we? Right? Did you know she's still alive? The girl that produces inside there, we have traced and tracked to find that she is still a living person. But the manifestation, the want and will of Josh Hurd and his buddies has created this intelligent spirit, manifested it into a creation. And since then, she's had tons of validations. Hell, she's even showed up on different locations for me. But it's a manifestation of energy, the basis of witchcraft. We can create hauntings because we want it to happen. So we have to watch ourselves on that as investigators. If we go into a location with a preconceived notion, our fact of wanting to experience that manifests it with magic.
So I want to thank Rob Terry for everything that he does and giving us this opportunity and giving me an opportunity for my first speaking event. Tim Woolworth and Tim Mull, not only for the charities that they work with. Potographs is an amazing thing, helping with the raising money for the shelters. If you don't know that story, it's all about Murray, and that dog saved Tim's life, so he pays it back by giving money to shelters.
Sorry, this is my first time speaking in front of everybody here. I've had several times to do it, but it's always like something bad happened, like the event block. COVID was a big one. So if I'm a little ragged, I'm sorry. But give you an event on me and why I am doing the way I am. 2011, I went to a place called Villisca Acton House. We went with my wife and all of her high school friends. Before that, I had a previous marriage that I got out of the paranormal. Up until that point, I was helping people like I'm doing now. I got married and I had a child, and for her mind frame and safety, I got out of the paranormal completely. I shut off my gifts. I quit investigating. I was dead. After that divorce, I got into my second marriage, and she's like, I like ghost adventures. I like taps. I'm like, okay, cool. There's a few places that I grew up around. Villisca was one of those. My mom used to take me there as a kid. I was 4 years old running around Villisca House. That was before it was popular. It was just a house. My mom knew this. So it was a normal place for me. So I'm going, okay, cool. In 2011, we go in this investigation. All of her friends are skeptics. Her and I are the only two that believe. They bring in a Ouija board. The night goes really bad, and I warned them. I warned them ahead of time. This is what I used to do. I got mocked and laughed. No, you're silly. This is nuts. I'm like, no, you don't want to do this. The night went really, really bad. Before the end of the night, 3 people were puking. I was scratched, and we had a bad, bad night. I had no resources at that time. I had none of you in my life. I had no ministry. I was like Tim. I was lost. I spent a year in oppression. My Facebook timeline, every night, started at 4 o'clock, and it moved to 3:33. Every night for 7 months, I'd wake up on the dot. I don't know what's going on. I can't sleep. I'm not doing well. My Facebook for an entire year is messed up in a mental madness as I'm trying to cope. A year to the day later, April 3rd, 2012, I died. On the day. Almost the hour. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. 3:33. I died of a tragic overdose. I've been on pain meds for 15 years. I've been good with them, never had a problem. Because of all that, it caused depression, it caused illness, it caused me to mismanage my meds. It was working on me psychologically. These spirits cannot physically hurt you unless they're like heavy-duty shit. But they will convince you to hurt yourself. This is that mental point. And this is why it's great to have that aspect of having a background with people. After that, I changed my life in 2 years. Got out of the abusive relationship, fixed my life, and I decided to become a priest. Finish my work. I started off as a preacher for the Church of the Brethren, which is an offshoot of the Dunkard Brethren. I was basically like an Amish. But I walked away from all that, and then after this happened, I didn't have the white light experience, as you were showing. It's the light. I died as a pagan, not believing in hell. My experience was not a white light experience. Where I went could only be described as a nightmare that I had a fun time handling. They kicked me out. When I got back, all of a sudden my gifts that I had all my life were turned on to 11. I couldn't turn them off anymore. So I said, let's do something with this. I changed my life, I got my priesthood, and I started helping real estate cleanse houses. Hey, I was getting paid. The only time I've ever charged for cleaning a house. Because these real estate guys are making thousands of dollars off each sale. I'm going to make $100. Every house has never been resold. All of them were fixed and done. Fast forward 2016, I come across Paranormal Endeavors. They interviewed me and then asked me to join, and I've been with them ever since, helping. Within that year, a gentleman by the name of Chris Sutton. How many people know Chris? Coyote? Him And a few others from the Dominion Ministry pulled me aside and said, "We want you." Little did I know that a couple of you have been watching for 2 years. Didn't know. So we brought this witchcraft into the paranormal to help people. I've brought forth herbs that will help. These are old remedies. There's over 300 herbs in the witchcraft practice that you can use other than sage and work 100 times better. If you keep using white sage because you're comfortable with it, that's fine. However, please be aware that sage is endangered. The more you overuse it, it is upside in the native cultures.
But they were nice enough to invite me to do the investigation afterwards. So we've got some video and clip there.
Thanks, Jerrett.
Well, thank you.
And we did on the haunted house, I always end up with, we had like a bed in the scene, and I made the bed bounce and everything like Exorcist. And there's a bed sitting right over here, and we had a couple younger girls in their teens, and their dads, and usually their dads were down here as well. But they're sitting here, and some lady came through, went in the haunt, everything with us, and she called like 2 days later and said, "I just want you to know that I don't think it's appropriate to have that young girl working down there." I'm like, "What young girl?" She's like, "I saw this young girl down there, she had to be like 6 years old." I'm like, "I don't have anybody that young working down there." It's like, "No, she was down there on a bed." I'm like, "The girl in that bed's a teenager, 14, 15-year-old teenager. Her dad's in that same room. Yeah, I saw him, I saw her, but there's a little girl sitting there with her." And I'm like,
There's somebody in the family brought in.
maybe she had her little sister with me and I didn't know it. And I hung up the phone, like, "Oh shit, she just saw the ghost in our building." We have a young female child ghost.
Okay.
And that's who was probably sitting at this bed.
My thought would be that it might be a familial member that they brought with them.
No, because we knew who was down here. And I knew there was nobody.
No, I mean in spirit.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Nope, and there's a young child here. In fact, in this room, we've caught EVPs. And somebody finally figured it out for me, because it took me for 3 years. But they were picked up, a little girl counting, and it's a class A. You hear her say, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm thinking, okay, and I'm like, maybe she's trying to tell us her age or something, I don't know. And somebody asked me, it's like, "Well, how many investigators in the building?" I'm like, "Oh shit, that's it." Because there was 2 people sitting over there was 2 sitting over here, like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like she was counting them. And but yeah, we picked that up. That dog prop with it up there, that's probably the best Class A EVP I've ever heard. These 2 girls were playing with that dog prop, like they were gonna bite each other with it. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, things happen a little stupid at 2 o'clock in the morning. And you hear a voice that says, "What a good dog."
Yeah. Yeah, this guy makes me want to do a Hamlet. It's like, "Poor Yorick, I knew him well."
When we first came down here, I was laughing when you tell that story because I don't know anything about this building. When I first came down here, I heard in my ear loud as day. I played with the dolls down here.
Oh, sweet. And that's why I walked over here and I'm like, what am I looking for? A road grader down the sidewalk through the snow wall.
Oh, this is so cool. I got night shot going, so.
Oh, this is freaking awesome.
Right? I want to do this in our basement. I want to do this in the basement of the mansion. This would be so cool. I'm enjoying this just a little too much. Brings my haunted house history to back.
So how many people have you killed down here, Robin?
Funny you should ask.
3. No one can hear the screams.
We had there was a carnival in town, and they were up there in the square, and we had a tornado spotted right outside of town. And so the police went up there and said, "You guys all need to go to the theater, to the basement over there. They got like a shelter down there for, we had a tornado coming." And so they're all coming down there, and I met them in the front door. I said, "You guys come down." I said, "Go downstairs." I said, "Just stay out of the room on the north side. Go downstairs, stay down there." Well, obviously, when you tell anybody, don't go in that room, they do. Well, I had it all set up like a funeral down here. I had a coffin set up here, and it had the skirting on it, and had chairs out here waiting for like a service. And I was sitting, this is my office right above here. I'm sitting up there, and I heard some guy, what the fuck do they do here? Here you got this insurance agent up here, but then you come down and there's skeletons hanging around and bodies and everything. And Norman came down here one time with a family that came down here with their son and mom and dad, and there was no power in the building. There's no lights. There was flashlights. And so they're down here with flashlights and like, there's like skeletons hanging on the walls. And so the kid said, is this where they do the haunted house? And I was like, yeah, this is where they do the haunted house. I guess I should have told you that. And the parents were like, oh, okay.
Relief.
And we thought, no, this isn't going to go well. Yeah, so it's kind of creepy at times. Pop it up, yeah.
Well, I'll be damned. That looks like a cat.
Well, and you probably haven't seen Norma's cat, but it's Himalayan.
Yeah.
And not to blow it up and run circles around or anything, but you can see the big bushy tail. No, but
What was great is there's something that goes on that we've talked about before in our series is you only get so much on camera. It's the crazy stuff that happens off camera that we wish we had evidence for. As you go through there, you'll see that I start having some video issues, things just aren't quite working right, or I have to shut it off real quick because of certain situations and stuff along the lines that it just seems like there was a lot of stuff coming up that wanted me to stop filming. It didn't matter if the audio was going.
This is the front of the theater.
Is there,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
is there somebody in here that makes you uncomfortable? Is that why you stopped talking when we walked in?
Holy crap. I was just, sorry. I was just about to ask, are you comfortable with all of us being here?
Staying very nice.
Yeah.
What do they keep you safe from?
Trying to come through.
One of the great ones of the ITC equipment that we used that night was an original Frank's box. If you don't know who Tim Woolworth is, Tim was Frank's partner. They were very good friends, and he is tied to these boxes. Once I stopped filming, then everything came through. And throughout the night, if you followed our series, you know I'm usually a pretty good target for things talking to me or asking for me. Didn't happen all night long until the very, very end when I shut off the camera, and then all of a sudden, thank you for not recording comes across the Frank's box.
Can I try those?
Absolutely.
I've never used dowsing rods. I don't even know how to hold it. Be careful you don't put your eyes out. Rock down on it and just hold it with your fingertips.
Keep the biggest mistake I see a lot of people doing is putting their thumbs on the back of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
No, they put their thumbs straight up like this over the top. And they're literally moving it, and you don't notice they're doing it. But when
You
you
want to
hold
have
them,
them show you yes first. What's a yes answer?
Yeah, typically you ask, or I just have them cross or uncross, depending. But I like your.
You broke it, Tim. I always have them show me yes and then show me no, so it tells me how they're going to communicate. So they're professional dowsers. Colin Wilson wrote 30 or 40 page on a dowser he was known all throughout England for finding lost things. People would come to him saying, I lost my keys, or my father buried something in the yard, and he'd just walk around with his dowsing rods and find it. When I worked construction with my old man, and it was new housing construction, they tried to drill water wells. And I remember this one time, the professional water company came in and tried to drill, it was like the 9th well, came up with sand. So they hired a dowser, a water witch, came in, nailed it, first try.
I've heard so many stories about that.
Can you tell me who's here with me? Scott again? You have Tim. Yes, you do. 2. 1. Tim. Yeah. Goodbye.
Overall, it was a phenomenal experience. It was a great opportunity. The last several years, the Tims and I have all said that we wanted to get together, so this was a nice little bucket list of it's been way too long. So it was a beautiful experience, and I thank everybody involved for that day.